What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks, preview, and predictions video for UFC 307 Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Welcome, everybody, to the channel here. If you're new to the channel, smash that like button and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications so you never miss an upload, so you never miss a live stream. And speaking of live streams, right after this stream, I'm actually going in house sitting / dog sitting for a friend of mine, but he's got a studio of his own as he does podcasting and streaming stuff as well. So I'm basically just going to plug in there. He's got everything set up for me, feed the dog, and basically stream the rest of the day. Now the next stream might be a boxing card or honestly whatever you guys want at that point. I'll let you guys know when I'm back on the line. But yeah, we're going to cover more combat sports leading up to UFC. Then we got UFC after UFC 307. Fight companion, we will dive into either or gladiator or, like I said, deep. But anyway, so more on that later. Let's get to the picks and predictions here. Good to see GCN picks, Sis, Ilcat, JVD, Hockey from Home in the live chat. Oh, JVD, slight underdog, but underdog nonetheless. Good to see you guys here this morning. All right, Tim Means against Court McGee. We got Old Fart versus Old Fart in this one. The Dirty Bird versus the Crusher. Now, Tim Means, 40 years of age. He is the slight favorite here at minus 195. 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He did lose his last fight to Euros Medic. And no shame in that. He got fed to the Wolves. Before that, beat Andre Fialho. Again, who hasn't beat Andre Fialho at this stage in his career? I mean, he's getting beaten UAE Warriors now again, but still, great performance there by the Dirty Bird, who was on a 3-fight losing streak before then, where he lost split decision to Max Griffin. Max Griffin ain't the greatest, but still, but then got submitted also in that twice in that 5-fight run. On the other side, Court McGee, 39 years of age, from Utah, by the way, from Utah. So already acclimated to the elevation, basically fighting around that area. He's at home. Lost to Morono decision. Matt Brown, no shame in that, although he got knocked out against Matt Brown, and Jeremiah Wells was the first guy to knock him out, if I'm not mistaken, before then won 2 decisions. He is 2-3 in his last 5. Look. Court McGee being an underdog right now is honestly, I feel like the safer pick, because though he's getting a little chinny, it's not like friggin' Dirty Bird is knocking out guys left, right, and center at this point in his career. He is the better striker, though. And look, he's been in this game long enough where he can defend takedowns. He can get back up to his feet. He's the taller, lankier guy. But Court McGee generally has won most of his fights by just smothering motherfuckers in mostly a boring fashion. 11 wins via decision, 7 via submission, only 3 KO TKOs. And he could very well win a decision here against Tim Means, especially if Tim Means slows down a little bit after the first round, whereas Court McGee's kind of always had that pace and cardio. So I feel like as an underdog, Court McGee is actually a very good underdog pick if you're betting on this card. For my official pick, though, I was kind of hoping he'd be the underdog because he's kind of just limited to his striking here as far as his path to victory. But I'm going with Tim Means as a favorite here, although he might be an underdog, or the lines might get closer as we approach the fights this evening. But I'm going with Tim Means. Though Court McGee's cardio is better, I do think Tim Means can do more damage in this fight. Do I think he'll be taken down at least once per round? Probably. But if he can get back up to his feet, and especially early in the fight, if he can get back up to his feet and stay on his feet for a good period of time, where you can piece up Court McGee, give him a shiner or two, maybe even cut him open with an elbow from the bottom or in the clinch, win on damage in a close fight, which this shall be a close fight. And Court McGee is an underdog. Unanimous decision, probably via smother, but I'm going with Tim Means on damage. Still think this goes the distance. Court McGee, now, again, like I said, he's getting a little bit chinny, but generally harder to put away. So yeah, we're going with Tim Means, but not a bad pick at all is Court McGee. This card starts off a little slow. We'll just say that because next we have the return and final fight of Carla Esparza's career. She's going up against Tisha Pennington. formerly known as Tisha Torres. Carla Esparza had a kid last year, coming back here, 36 years of age, former champion, Ultimate Fighter winner, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And she is back here to fight one more time before hanging up the gloves, going up against Tisha Pennington. Now, they're both similar age, 36, 35. 13-7 for Pennington. 3-2 in her last 5. She's on a 2-fight losing streak. However, split decision against Tabitha Ritchie and split decision against Mackenzie Dern. Not bad losses at all. And I know some people were making the argument that she beat Ritchie in that one. I don't think so, but it was a close fight. Win against Angela Hill. And honestly, I think that one probably a deserving one. It's tough with Angela Hill because she does get robbed quite a bit. She had been the last couple of years. This year, not too bad. Knocks out Sam Hughes. We always love to see that. And decision against a 9-2 gal. And honestly, Tisha Pennington has been a little bit more active. She fought 4 months ago. Before then, hadn't fought in 2 years. Whereas Carla Esparza, like I said, had a kid last year. Almost 2 years off here. And her last fight was a loss to Weili Zhang, where she got it was actually a brutal submission there. But before them was on an absolute crazy win streak where she won the title in the worst fight I've ever seen. And honestly, I don't even blame Carla for this one. I blame Rose. That was a disgrace to MMA, but she won the fight anyways. Carla Esparza did anyways. Look, she's had very few KO TKOs, but one of them coming up against Xiao Nan is legit, as she's a great striker. Beat Marina Rodriguez split decision. So Waterson Gomez, who hadn't beat her at that time. She's an underdog. She trains at Elevation now in Colorado. Has been a little bit more active. Yeah, and has kind of gotten back in the cage since she's taken a lot of time off as well. So I am going to go with Tisha Pennington in this one. However, as an underdog, Carla Esparza, she does have that smothering style, kind of like Court McGee. And she can out-wrestle the best of them. And she's proven that throughout her career. But like I said, she's getting up there in age. Hasn't been back in UFC level fighting competition in almost 2 years, right? So hasn't really got her feet wet other than just training. Whereas Tisha Pennington has already come back, lost, but still in a good fight against a close fight against Tabitha Ritchie. So yeah, more active, though I think Esparza is the better wrestler. Tisha isn't bad in her grappling at all. She's more explosive. She's quicker. Carla can hold you down and ground and pound you, though. And also, Carla has 1 foot out the door, right? She knows this is her retirement fight. And most fighters who even have that mentality of 1 foot out the door, unless they're like savage strikers who kind of go out on their shield throwing big bombs, usually it affects them in some little way. And Carla Esparza ain't one of those who are just going to run out there and throw bombs. Now, she does respect, but I doubt she's going to. Yeah, Tisha, good scrambles, faster, slightly better striker. I wrote in my notes here, most are against Esparza. I guess it could go either way, but I'm leaning towards Tisha Pennington. Let me check in on the live chat quickly here. GCN picks with the $1 donation. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Jerusalem Esparza. Good morning, Tim Means a winning. Let's go, Dirty Bird. The GOAT, Tim Means. I got there you go. You got Kevin Holland. To be honest, Aldo's my only dog on the card. McGee, Esparza, Dolidze, and Wonderboy are all live. But aside from Aldo and maybe Wonderboy, my gut tells me to avoid heavy gambling the dogs. Dude, thank you so much for the donation. And I hope you're having a great start to your weekend. We need to bully Ryzen to open up a middleweight division and bring a heavyweight title back to the fold. Hey, what's up, Habbo? Good to see you, buddy. I'm excited for tonight, too. There's going to be some good fights on UFC. There's going to be some great deep and gladiator fights as well after. People UFC to sign more people from Rise and KSW because they have really exciting fights. That's true. But we got to continue to remind the UFC to let them either use them the Russian gas or them Polish syringes. Just saying. It's on DAZN, is it not? No, Octagon with a C today, not K. That's probably why you can't find it. I'm pretty sure it's the Kazakh Octagon. I don't think there's Octagon with a K today. It doesn't pay enough for the KSW guys. Well, it's because they're sponsors. They'll lose all their sponsors. Dolidze gonna look so slow against Holland. Currently watching this slow ass against Anthony Smith. He is slow. What's up, Amon? Hope Carly gets a win to close out the career. If I was a betting man, I'd put 100 on Aldo. A just came from RWS. What's up, chummy boy? Good to see you. Yes, RW. There was a lot of combat sports on this morning. Yo, what's up, Activate A? Spam is such a meme fighter. Any highlights from Unified? Well, the Canadians lost back-to-back. There were a few good submissions and a couple good finishes as well. I did cover one championship live, but I went back and watched a little bit of Unified. Actually, this morning, I watched 2 of the fights and then a few of the highlights. But last night, I fell asleep watching K1. I'm not going to lie. Not to say that like it was that boring. I was watching K1 over watching Unified, catching up on Unified last night. Make sure you bet on Esparza fight to go the distance. That is usually a safe bet. Big shout out to everyone in the live chat, by the way. All right. Ovin St. Preux against Ryan Spann. OSP coming off a win against Kennedy Nchukwu in his last fight. Split decision. I do think it was the right decision. I don't know what Nchukwu was doing in that one. Kind of just decided to stop throwing, and OSP landed some big shots and did some damage. There you go. 41 years of age is the former title challenger. 27, 17, 2-3 in his last 5 up against Ryan Spann, who's 2-3 in his last 5 as well, on a 3-fight losing streak. Yes, I know, on a 3-fight losing streak. Losing to Guskov, no shame in that. He is a deadly striker. Anthony Smith, split decision, a lot of shame in that. Krylov, triangle choke, no shame in that, but that was over a year ago. I mean, Spann, like, he has power, he has grappling, he's well-rounded, but he's good everywhere. He's not great everywhere, but like sometimes the gears are turning the wrong way. Let's just say that. Sometimes there's just like decision-making in there, or a hesitancy to pull the trigger, zigging when you should be zagging. You know what I mean? Just not the best decision-making at times. And mostly it's like a hesitancy. When he's not hesitant and he follows the game plan, and you can see like there's a structure to this. There's a reason to why he's doing the things he's doing, even if it's a heavy clinch game versus just kind of looking confused out there. Ryan Spann can be a dangerous fighter. Let's see if he puts it together in this one against an aging OSP, because a middling guy who wasn't able to make decisions and gas out in his last fight, well, he lost to OSP. 6 KO TKOs, 12 submissions, 3 decisions, 7-5 in the UFC, 3-1 in LFA, and 1-1 off Contender Series. Wins against Kutelaba, and Dominic Reyes when he was getting chinned. I mean, and he's lost to Anthony Smith twice, bro. Johnny Walker. I mean, not a lot of impressive wins other than Kutelaba, I guess. That's a weird one. Whereas OSP, again, he's pretty much done. Like, this might... You know, win or lose, this might be a retirement fight. And honestly, if he wins and retires, the UFC might just fire Ryan Spann. So, like, the UFC might shed their roster twofold here tonight. If OSP wins, let's be perfectly honest. 11 KO TKOs, 9 submissions, 7 decisions, 15-12 in the UFC, 6-1 in Strikeforce. Lost to Felipe Lins. Don't want to get knocked out by Felipe Lins. Beat an old Shogun. Lost to Boser, Jamal Hill. Beat Menningfield, which, hey, that's a good win. I'll give it to him, but that was in 2020. Yeah, I mean, he was beating guys on his way down. It wasn't like just a Tony Ferguson, BJ Penn decline. He kind of like went up and down a little bit, as you can see here. But Ryan Spann should win this one. He should win this one, just like he should have beaten Anthony Smith, just like he should. And he did beat Dominic Reyes, just like he He probably shouldn't have beat Guskov, but he should win this one, okay? He should win this one. He's got faster hands. He's got power. He's not a bad grappler. He should have better cardio since he's younger, but, you know, they both seem to gas, let's be perfectly honest. OSP coming off a good dog of a win, end of his career, could retire, win or lose. Like I said, both could leave the UFC. If Ryan Spann loses and OSP retires, Ryan Spann, you're cut. You're cut. If you can't beat OSP, then get the frig out of here. Frig off, Leahy. The Ari Gold. Get the fuck out. All right. Ihor Potieria against Cesar Almeida. Now, I've dogged Almeida a little bit. And, you know, I shouldn't even say that I've dogged him. I should just say his grappling, his takedown defense is a question mark. It's been a question mark. He kind of got the Vakidov treatment. And, hey, proved himself thus far, especially in his last fight against Kopylov split decision. He had Kopylov hurt at one point, right? Kopylov just exposed what we all kind of knew was lacking. Takedown defense and grappling once you get a little tired. Now, in the first round, Almeida did have good takedown defense. He did show an ability to get back up to his feet, sprawl stuff, and back up against the cage, was able to have that employ a wide stance. And on the feet, I mean, dude, this guy, glory kickboxer, win against Alex Pereira, and is training with him now, funny enough. 5-1 though as a pro, and has suffered his first loss against Kopylov. But again, split decision is not bad. Like Alex Pereira, yeah. So he's 1-2 against Alex Pereira. All went decision. Has some amazing kickboxing wins. That one wasn't even in glory, funny enough. Beat a really good guy on Contender Series. Beat Dylan Budka, who honestly, Budka could have been a wrestling threat. Now I say could have been because we all thought this guy actually had some wrestling to his arsenal. Apparently not, but hey, it is what it is. But did prove himself against Kopylov that, like, okay, I can at least fight these guys and shoot, not only go the distance, but go split decision and, you know, hurt his opponent. So I will say I'm not 100% sold on Almeida, but I do think Kopylov is a way better opponent and way more dangerous than freaking Ihor fucking Potieria here. I cannot stand Ihor Potieria. Is he a little flashy? Is he light on his feet? Sure. But he's mostly swinging at air. Now, I will give him credit. He had a little bit more power than I thought he did, because he has dropped opponents, but he hasn't knocked out many opponents in the UFC. He hasn't finished a lot of guys in the UFC just yet. He's been in some dog fights. I'll give him that, but he's just not good. He looks like he has good striking because he's bobbing up and down on his feet, swinging at air, all jabbing nothing, gauging distance for way too long. It's like gauge, download, strike. Don't just download data your whole fight and just look active out there. Very much more of a point fighter style than a guy who's dangerous like Almeida. Now, his grappling honestly isn't the worst. His scrambles are fine, but he's usually scrambling after getting hurt. And I think Almeida is going to hurt him. Now, I do think these odds are a little crazy, given that, like, Potieria has way more MMA fights and is overall more well-rounded, but Almeida's way more dangerous, which is why he's the favorite in this one. 21-6 for Potieria, 9 KO TKO, 7 submissions, 5 decisions, 2-4 in the UFC. Just awful, just absolutely awful. I can't stand him, dude. I can't stand him. This was awesome. This was an awesome, awesome thing to see. Yeah, Almeida's going to starch this guy. He's going to knock him out. The odds, again, are a little crazy. Better striker, way better striker is Almeida. Like I said, Potieria, he's got decent hands, enough to drop his opponent, but hardly enough to finish them in the UFC. Better footwork from Almeida, despite him not maybe bobbing up and down and jumping around there. His footwork is better. He's got good leg kicks. If he can keep this on the feet, it's good night, Ihor. 100%. You know it's a bad pay-per-view when Potieria is on the card, even the undercard, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you know. Anyways, and what a undercard here. Alexander Hernandez against Austin Hubbard. We'll check back in the live chat after this one, guys. Thank you all for joining. I see J Rose here. Yeah, shout out to Western Mass Climber member now. Let's go. We got Activate A. Robert G, good to see you. All right, Alexander Hernandez, 14-8 as a pro, 1-4 in his last 5 fights on a 2-fight losing streak right now to Damon Jackson and Bill Algeo. Both decisions, but still, it's crazy to think that like he was a surging prospect at one point in the UFC and just kind of plateaued. Up against Austin Hubbard, who trains at Elevation, by the way, out of Denver, not Utah. 16-7 as a pro. Well-rounded, but not really great anywhere. 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Beat Michael Figlak in his last fight. And Figlak's good, man. Figlak is good, so that's actually a really good win. And on the Ultimate Fighter, actually beat Roosevelt Roberts, who looked really good in his last fight. So that actually kind of aged well. 4 KO TKO, 3 submission, 9 decisions, 4-5 in the UFC, 2-0 in LFA. Lost to Kurt Hollebach, who's pretty good. He's a dog. Again, got cut from the UFC, but beat some guys on the regional scene. I'll say this. He didn't beat the best guys on the regional scene. He beat, let me bang, bro, Julian Lane and some 5-0 guy. But I will say that this win on The Ultimate Fighter has aged well. And honestly, he wasn't that bad in the UFC. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. Not good anywhere, good everywhere, but not great everywhere. Hard to finish. Alexander Hernandez fights at a crazy pace in the first round. Insanely strong. He's got decent hands. He's got power in his mitts. But as soon as he starts to gas, kind of the same thing as Potieria, kind of bounces around a little bit and still looks light on his feet, but like he doesn't really commit to much. 6 KO, 2 KOs, 2 submissions, 6 decisions, 6-7 in the UFC, 1-0 in LFA. And he looked good in the Jim Miller fight. I'll give him that. But I don't know. I like him at 155. I do. 145, I think he depletes himself way too much. I do like him at 155. Yeah, on the rise, he looked really good. And then kind of went win one, lose one, win one, but just not in a kind of on a slump right now with only 1 win in his last 5 fights. Damon Jackson, solid. Bill Algeo, solid. So not like bad wins, especially not being finished in those ones. But at altitude, where this whole card was kind of put together pretty quickly, so I don't want to say short notice, but definitely shorter camp for both of these guys. I trust a guy who fights at elevation who's hard to finish in Austin Hubbard winning this one. Now, could Alexander Hernandez win a decision here? Absolutely. Could he win 2 out of the 3 rounds? First round and, probably round 2 because it's Alexander Hernandez. He ain't winning round 3. He gonna be huffing and puffing. There's definitely a possibility that he does there, but I like Hubbard as an underdog here. I like him winning 2 out of the 3 rounds. Yeah, I'm going with Hubbard. I'm going with Hubbard here. I'm banking on him having better cardio. I think that the dangerous pace out that Hernandez puts on anybody in the first round is dangerous, but I think once second and third round hits, that his striking isn't as much of a threat anymore, and it's mostly just like, okay, it's like his striking, his grappling, and then just doing enough damage on Hernandez to win the fight, or kind of like how you have to see a Hernandez fight play out. How typically you can foresee a Alexander Hernandez fight playing out. I think overall he's like the better fighter everywhere. But yeah, shorter camp and at altitude, we'll see. It doesn't give me confidence to pick Hernandez to win. He is overall faster, again, before he gasses. But like I said, I like how Hubbard's well-rounded, good everywhere, not great anywhere, sort of thing. And the Roosevelt Roberts, like I said, tough win is starting to look even better now. I do have him winning a decision, but this one could go either way. Amazing prelims, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing prelims. We are so spoiled to be UFC fans. So spoiled. At least we got deep later tonight. Yeah. All right. Back to the comments here quickly. What's up, the leprechaun? What's up, buddy? Ryan almost has a good record. There was a guy called Liam McFadden. He got a 10 to 15 second finish on Unified. That was very impressive. I have Aldo. The mods are great. Okay. I am on Mario, but everyone on Aldo. Am I tripping? Mario Bautista is good, but I think Aldo, after his Martinez performance, because I'm not gonna lie, I picked Martinez to win. I can't pick against Aldo because I think Martinez is just as dangerous as Bautista. No. Good to see you, buddy. The Irish International Open Junior Championship is on YouTube right now. The more you know. It's a hard fight to call with Aldo still good. Just don't know how good Bautista is. I am going to go for a run today. Tara's next champ at 125. I thought you don't even watch the 125 division. I don't think this card is that bad. The prelims aren't that great. And I'm usually a glass half full guy, coffee half full guy. But Robert, I will say this. We've been spoiled with good KSW cards. We've been spoiled with good Octagon cards. We've been spoiled with, honestly, some good UFC cards and Rise and Deep. We've been spoiled outside of the UFC a lot, so maybe my standards are going up a little bit. The Pimp Daddy is here. Whoever gifted me this membership last week, I want to say thank you, yo. Shout out to everyone who gifted memberships. I like Hubbard to out-grapple him. Honestly, Hernandez just gasses out too early anyways. Yep. I went Hubbard by decision, but could see a KO against Hernandez. He needs to be cut. Hubbard trains out of Chicago now with Bilal and whoever else. Alex trains at altitude 2, but his cardio has been sus. Where does he train out of again? Did I see train? Oh, right. He trains out of Factory X. That is right. That is right. But somehow still ends up gassing. Somehow still ends up guessing. That is right, though. Thank you. So this is why I like to check the live chat, too, because there's things that I miss. I think 125 is really good. With Tyra, I mean, Kaya Sakura coming over as well. All right, let's get to this next one. Marina Rodriguez against Lucindo. Iasmin Lucindo. 16-5 as a pro for Lucindo. And honestly, Marina Rodriguez is an underdog here. Pretty good underdog. Now, it's women's MMA, so it's just kind of tough to bet women's MMA anyways. But I do think Marina Rodriguez overall is the more well-rounded fighter. Overall is the better fighter, the more experienced fighter. Lucindo is still an up-and-coming prospect. And I say still because she's 22 freaking years of age. She's on a 3-fight win streak, 4-1 in her last 5. Now, has she fought in gals the same level of competition as Rodriguez recently? No. 8 KOT gives 3 submissions, 5 decisions. Does hit hard, but doesn't have that Brazilian girl man strength that some of these other knockout artists from Brazil have. Let's just say that. Let's just leave it at that. I would say that she has more power than the average girl, but she's kind of in between that volume striker with, like, you know, good power to stun you versus that, you know, peak on drawage power. 3-1 in the UFC, 2-0 in Action Fight Championship. Put on a good win against Karolina Kowalkiewicz, as Kowalkiewicz was on a little bit of a surge late in her career, outstriking girls who weren't as good of strikers as her. So this was actually a good win. Beat Poliana Viana, who's honestly not that great, but is okay. So good win there. Brogan Walker. I mean, Brogan Walker is not good, but again, she beat her as well. This was honestly such a good fight. Now, in hindsight, going to decision against Uregui, who got knocked the fuck out in her last fight. Maybe not the greatest, but like this was a 3-fight freaking war. This was such a fun fight. And they each did a lot of damage on each other. But that's why I'm saying this girl's not as much of a KO artist as, you know, even Souza, who Uregi took on in her last fight, right? But on the regional scene was knocking girls out. I do like her striking. I do like her durability, as she's still so young and just getting better and better in each fight. She's a little bit smaller than Rodriguez, who is taller, who is lankier, who I think is the better grappler. Her striking's awkward, but she can land shots at range, has a good jab. She's getting up there in age, though, 37 years of age. 7 KOTKOs, 1 submission, and 9 decisions. 7, 4, and 1. 2 in the UFC. 2 draws. Wow, 1-0 of Contender Series. Lost to Jessica Andrade, split decision, but that was a very close decision. Beat Gomez, who hasn't. Jean Giraud is good. Lemos is good. Like, these aren't bad losses. And was on a great win streak to go up to earn a to earn that fight against Amanda Lemos. Jan is a damn good striker. Mackenzie Dern is sometimes a good striker, but, you know, she's solid. Gomez, again, who hasn't beat her, and she beat her twice. There you go. And Ribas, pretty good as well. Lost as far as a split decision. I think Rodriguez is a good pick here, especially as an underdog, but I do think Lucindo does more damage, and I think there's always a chance that Lucindo can crack you, so I'm going with Lucindo here. I honestly think that Rodriguez should be the favorite in this one, but I guess people see the win streak, see how many KO she has on her resume and is going with her. I'm just banking on her doing more damage. I'm banking on her at least, if not knocking out Rodriguez, knocking her down a time or two. And if Rodriguez does have to kind of boring grapple at that point, maybe she can. But if Rodriguez gets the better of Lucindo on the feet, it's good night Jim Kite for my pick. So like I said, overall, I do think Rodriguez is better, but I think Lucindo will do more damage, and I'm banking on her just dropping her a few times, and that hopefully being the difference in the fight. She does have good takedowns and grappling as well. Is it on the same level as Rodriguez? Offensively, I'll say maybe a little bit more, but Rodriguez is perfectly fine on the ground despite her not having a lot of submissions. They're both Brazilian, so like, I mean, they're both born in a gi and a few stripes on their white belt. I like Rodriguez's jab. I think just overall, Lucindo's the more dangerous striker. And she's also fought decent opponents throughout her career too. So we're going with Lucindo. All right, moving up the card here. Featured prelim, which, I mean, you'd hope would be a good fight. Buckley's probably going to get a ground and pound finish, but we'll see. We'll see. What's up, Idaho Skatesman? Yes, I saw you were streaming all night. Sorry I wasn't able to join, my man. But that's awesome. You stayed up and watched. I watched a little bit of K1 and then I fell asleep on the couch with an iPad in hand. Joaquin Buckley against Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson. Joaquin Buckley on a run right now, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, 19-6 as a pro. He's 30 years of age, coming off a great win against Ruzaboy, where he took that fight on short notice. Before then, beat Vicente Luque, beat Alex Morono, who didn't finish him, but still, Alex Morono's solid. Fialho finished him, but who hasn't? Let's be honest. Which sucks. I mean, Fialho is always good. It just, his chin went and like he's gone. Like he's getting knocked out in every single promotion he goes to now, not just the UFC, like on the regional scene. But I like this little run that Joaquin Buckley is on. He is well-rounded. He's a good striker. And he even admitted, look, I'm not going to strike with Wonder Boy. I'm literally going to take him to the ground and pound him. So Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has been working on the takedown defense his entire career, ladies and gentlemen. The karate background of Stephen Thompson, the kickboxer, and now the accomplished MMA fighter, and he's been a top UFC guy for a very long time, just has not been able to get over the hump and win the belt because he just hasn't been able to round out his game. If you can grapple, you can beat Stephen Thompson. Now, can you beat up Stephen Thompson? Not necessarily. He can get back up to his feet. He can land shots in the clinch. He can fight you, but he's a lot of the time on the defense. 8 KO TKOs, 1 submission, 8 decisions, 12-7-1 in the UFC. He's been in the UFC since 2012. Before then, he fought in International Sport Combat Federation, where he went 4-0 after a kickboxing and a karate career. He's still quick. He's still solid. He's still dangerous. But, I mean, look at the guys who he loses to. Look at the guys who he loses to. Now, the Pettis one was sick. I'll give him that. But that was back in 2019. I'm going with Joaquin Buckley on this one. I mean, who doesn't love Wonder Boy? But Joaquin Buckley, well-rounded, better grappling. I think he's stronger. He'll use his ground and pound. Would not be a smart move to keep us on the feet for Buckley, and I don't think he will. Good feints. Obviously, Thompson has good range control and good counters. But the youth factor, coming off some good wins, Buckley has momentum and he just seems motivated to continue to climb. And this will be a big name on his resume to get through on his way to the top. All right, we open the main card here. Kayla Harrison against Ketlen Vieira. And I do not like these odds. I hate seeing boxing odds in mixed martial arts, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to see boxing odds in mixed martial arts. However, Ketlen Vieira, I mean, it's Ketlen Vieira. Does she have some okay wins? Yes, sure. Is she an impressive fighter at the 135 division? No. She beat Kianzad in her last fight. Big fucking whoop, bro. Lost to Raquel Pennington, although it was a split decision, but I think Raquel was the rightful winner in that one. Holly Holm split decision. Might I remind you that Kayla Harrison in her debut in the UFC absolutely tore through Holly Holm. Misha Tate decision. At this point in Misha Tate's career, even 2 years ago, you should be finishing Misha Tate. Lost to Yana Santos. Are you kidding me? I guess Yana Santos wasn't that bad back then, but still. I am very meh on Ketlen Vieira, and though I think minus 1100 odds are insane in mixed martial arts, and anything can happen in MMA, and anything can happen in women's MMA, I don't like plus 700. I mean, I like it if you want to drop a couple bucks on it, sure. I still think Kayla Harrison's going to win this fight and tear through Ketlen Vieira. I mean, 4-1 in her last 5 fights, only lost to Pacheco. Absolutely destroyed Aspen Ladd, who, you know, is honestly Ketlen Vieira level, or even maybe even better if she can make 135. Absolutely tore through Holly Holm, something Vieira couldn't do. Striking, obviously not her strength. Her strength is her motherfucking strength. Her takedowns, her wrestling, her grappling, her ability to find submissions and or just land vicious ground and pound. 6 KO TKO, 7 submissions, 4 decisions. Has finished more of her opponents than gone the distance against. Went 15-1. She was the queen of the PFL. 1-0 in the UFC right now. She's coming for that title, and 1-0 in Invicta. And in her Invicta fight, when she was able to use elbows, she absolutely destroyed her opponent. Has beat Pacheco a few times. Pacheco solid. It's what the best the PFL could offer, and honestly looked good in her debut in the UFC. So we're going with Kayla Harrison. Surprise, surprise. Roman Dolidze against Kevin Holland. Now, Roman Dolidze as an underdog I like because he's got that dog in him and he doesn't get finished easily. So he can still be walking forward, swinging, lackadaisical, and dead tired, huffing and puffing, but still swinging in the 3rd round. He just slows down a lot. Now, I always am going to go back to that Marvin Vettori fight. That was a tremendous fight. It was a back-and-forth dog fight. Close fight, in my opinion, a fight that I actually think Dolidze won. Back and forth, and they both kind of, their gas tanks dropped at the same time, so neither was really noticeably more tired than the other. I do think and know Kevin Holland has a better gas tank than Dolidze here, so Dolidze is going to look slower as the fight goes on, but this could be a stand-up dog fight because if Dolidze doesn't get Holland down in the 1st and 2nd round, Holland will likely defend the takedowns enough to just keep this on the feet or counter him with some knees or uppercuts or something like that. But at plus money, he's not a bad dog of a fighter. Both dog in the betting odds and just DAWG dog, ladies and gentlemen. 13-3 as a pro, beat Anthony Smith, but wasn't able to finish him because he gassed just like Anthony Smith. This was atrocious. This is one of the worst fights I've ever seen against Nasruddin Imavov. Both them gassed, and it was just... oh, it was bad. It wasn't quite Carlos Esparza bad, but it was almost bad. That bad. The Marvin Vettori fight, actually, this was an awesome fight. He lost decision. I honestly think he should have, if he was going to lose, he should have lost split decision, but that was just me. Good win against Jack Hermanson and Phil Hosba, who hasn't beaten Phil Hos, let's be perfectly honest. He doesn't have a gas tank, but he continues to step forward, and he's hard to finish, is Dolidze. And, like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, yeah, he goes hiking. That doesn't mean he has good cardio. Bro, I used to do, like, crazy hikes, crazy mountain hikes, crazy, like, multi-day hikes, and my cardio still shit. Even though I run every day, my cardio still shit. Even though I do hill sprints, my cardio still shit. Sometimes you just don't got it, ladies and gentlemen. And Roman Dolidze, he don't got it. 7 KO TKO has never been knocked out. 3 submissions, never been submitted. His only 3 losses have come via decision. Kevin Holland, 26-11 as a pro. Hard to finish as well. Only been knocked out once. 13 KO TKOs, only been submitted 3 times. 9 submissions, 4 decisions. 13-8-1 in the UFC. Incredibly active. He's been in the UFC since 28. Look at the amount of fights he has in the UFC. It's absolutely insane. 1-1 in LFA, 1-0 in Bellator, and he came off Contender Series. Good win in his last fight. He lost MVP in his debut. Lost to Jack Della Maddalena. Split decision, honestly, just didn't pull the trigger. If he pulled the trigger a little bit more, he probably wouldn't have done enough to win that fight. Beat Chiesa. I mean, I guess who hasn't? Tony Ferguson, but still. Good win against Ponzinibbio. Even though Ponzinibbio's on his way out, that's still a good win there. Honestly, Kevin Holland, durable guy, good striker. Grappling, getting better. More of a jiu-jitsu guy. I should say his wrestling is getting better. His grappling is always fine. He can find submissions, as shown in his last fight. His wrestling, though, was always left a little bit to be desired. But just as far as his straight-up takedown defense, it's getting a little bit better, especially with his back up against the cage. And I do think he'll be able to keep Dolidze on the feet. So I am going Kevin Holland here. Dolidze, though, I will stand by saying he's a good underdog. Gas tank's questionable, though. He's got that dog in him, and he's hard to finish. But overall, Kevin Holland's a better striker. He can grapple more of a BJJ style than wrestling. Like I said, Dolidze's wrestling is not as dangerous when he's tired, so basically he loses that after the first round. Holland can outstrike Dolidze, but he can't hold back like in the JDM fight, or he might lose a split decision. Again, love the Vettori fight with Dolidze. It was an absolute brawl. If he chooses to play that game versus try to grapple early, I do think Holland will win, though. And that's why I'm going Kevin Holland. All right, one more here, then we'll get back to the chat. Actually, you know what? We'll get back to the chat right now. I'm just seeing where I last left off. Marina looks decent. Imagine Marina in KSW, right? The Brazilian looks like a boy. Honestly, I think they both kind of are the same level. Yes, big shout out to the Idaho Skatesman who streamed K1 last night. You got Rodriguez. Seen some embedded Wonder Boy practicing some submissions off his back. Would be wild if he caught a sub. Oh, could you imagine like a triangle? Shama, what's up, Ganskow? Good to see you. Lackadaisical counter number 1. Good to see you guys. Holland hasn't been yapping mid-fight recently. That's true. He hasn't been yapping much recently at all. I usually pick Dolidze, and if it bites me, it bites you in the ass. Yes. He is not a fun fighter to watch because in the first round, he always looks good, but he's so slow in his striking. And after round 2 and 3, he's just huffing and puffing. I don't care if he hikes. He's at altitude this time. He's going to be huffing and puffing. All right. Next fight here, we got Jose Aldo, ladies and gentlemen, against Mario Bautista. And Jose Aldo, despite being 38 years old, still is active in combat sports and still is getting wins, ladies and gentlemen. 32-8 as a pro, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. And he did tremendous against Jonathan Martinez in his last fight. Before then, lost to Merab. Took a little bit of a break in mixed martial arts after the Merab loss, which Merab basically just pinned him up against the cage and did nothing, but did enough to win. Fair enough, Merab, you do you. Took 2 years off of MMA, but was boxing. I think he had like 2 or 3 boxing fights between. So actually stayed active in training, stayed active in combat sports, came back and looked great against Martinez. Going up against Mario Bautista, who is on a great run right now and has a tremendous record of 14-2, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, and actually is the favorite coming into this one. Bautista does hit hard, but I really don't think is as dangerous as Aldo, even though Aldo's 38 years of age, 31 years of age for Bautista out of the MMA lab. 3 KO, TKO, 6 submissions, 5 decisions. That just kind of shows it. He's never lost a fight via decision, only lost via KO, TKO, or submission. But it's not like he has the most dangerous hands. Like, he has decent power, but he doesn't have Aldo power, especially those shots that Aldo dishes to the body. 8-2 in the UFC, 2-0 in LFA. Ricky Simone was a good win. Damon Blackshear's a fine win, I guess. Guido Canetti, I mean, you should be subbing him or beating him with relative ease. Benito Lopez. I mean, Lopez 10-1 at that time. Not a bad win. Kelleher, not a bad submission. Who hasn't beaten Trevin Jones? Miles Johns is a good win. That was back in 2020. So, like, he's He's good. He's good everywhere. I don't know if he's great anywhere. If anything, his grappling is probably a little bit better than his striking. I think Aldo will piece him up on the feet, will absolutely tear up his legs, and Bautista can't get this to the ground. Aldo's just gonna beat this guy up for 3 rounds, just like he did Martinez. And at plus money, we're going with Jose Aldo Jr., ladies and gentlemen. And I can't, like I said, I can't pick against him after the Martinez performance. Striking still so fast, so polished, so crisp. Only loss was to Merab in his last 5 fights as well. Stayed active in boxing during his MMA break, which I mentioned. Absolute legend. And though we don't have much more time watching Aldo fight because he's going to retire sooner than later, he wants a shot at that belt one more time. 16 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 14 decisions, 14-7 in the UFC, 8-0. He's the king of Rio. He was also the king of the WEC. Yeah, after losing to Volkanovski, Moraes, and Piotr Jan, he beat Chito Vera, Munoz, Rob Font. 3 good wins. Let's be perfectly honest. Lost to Merab, had 3 boxing fights, and then came back and beat up Martinez. Dude, what a legend. Yeah, I'm going with Aldo on this one. Duh. Now, plus money, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Co-main event. We'll get back to you guys' comments here in a few minutes. Co-main event, we got Raquel Pennington against Julianna Peña. The rematch from The Ultimate Fighter. The rivalry rematch we all didn't know we needed. Emotional damage. Coming off a loss, getting a title fight, Israel Adesanya style. No, I guess she was promised a trilogy against Nunes, but then she had to pull out due to injury, as Peña hasn't fought in over 2 years. Her last fight was the Nunes loss. Nunes has fought even after that, right? And defended her title against Aldana. And then hanging them up. But yeah, so Peña was promised that fight. She had to pull out to injury, so they gave her the title fight because they're like, you were going to get the title fight anyways. Don't know if I really agree with that, but regardless. Raquel Pennington, for as boring of a style as she employs, she gets it done. And honestly, not as annoying as Peña. Now, I get Peña is trying to cut promos and be in the conversation, and she is as a result, so respect to that. People talk about her. I mean, any publicity is good publicity, even if people are annoyed with her, which I am. Some people like the heel, and fair enough. Looking to you, JL. 1 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 11 decisions for Raquel Pennington, the champion. She's 13-5 in the UFC, 1-2 in Invicta. 13-5 in the UFC, you got to give props to that. And honestly, a really good win against Mayra Bueno Silva. Was it boring? Yeah, but she neutralized everything. A dangerous Mayra Bueno Silva. And a bigger Mayra Bueno Silva was able to put on her, beat Ketlen Vieira, beat Aspen Ladd, beat Macy Chasson, who Macy Chasson is good. When Aspen Ladd makes weight, she's good. Kianzad's whatever, and Renault's whatever. Beat Aldana, has wins against Tate back in 2016. That's a good win. That's like prime Tate, prime Andrade. I mean, I'm just going to say it. A win against Roxanne Modafferi at any time is good because you don't know if you're going to beat a good opponent or a dangerous submission artist because she's beaten good opponents. But no, going with Raquel Pennington. She's going to smother Julianna Peña up against the cage. I think she's the better striker overall. Does Peña have power to drop a girl? I guess. But her striking is not clean. It's not crisp. Pennington obviously is preparing for that just crazy close my eyes blitz that Peña throws. Peña has good jiu-jitsu, but I think Pennington is just stronger, has good grappling, has just better wrestling, that if she is on the ground, she's going to keep you in a dominant position or reverse you to a position that she likes better if she's on the back or if she's in half guard, on the back, in full guard or half guard. And up against the cage, that's where Pennington does her best work. Short strikes in the clinch, break, elbow, or a couple strikes, back to the clinch, or fetches the double leg. And if she doesn't get it, we'll try to land a few body shots. So I do think this is going to be a 5-round kind of boring fight, refill your popcorn type of fight. But I do think Pennington, and still, baby, shuts up Julianna Peña. Main event of the evening, then we'll get back to you guys' comments here. Main event of the evening, we got Khalil Rountree Jr. We got a couple juniors on the card here with Aldo and Khalil against Boatan Shama Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, 11-2 as a pro in mixed martial arts. In kickboxing, my God, he's an absolute legend over there as well. on a 4-fight win streak. Beat Yuri Prohaska. He beat Yuri Prohaska twice, I should say. Finished him both times. Finished Jamal Hill. Split decision against Jan Blachowicz, I should say. And only lost to Adesanya via KO TKO after beating him there. So, like, he's only fought the top of the division. He's only fought the best guys in both middleweight and the light heavyweight. And he's won the belt. Not a big deal at middleweight. And he is the champion of light heavyweight right now. It's truly tremendous to see the ascent of Alex Pereira. And it's like, it's kind of like, to throw to a different Alex, it's kind of like Alex Ovechkin in hockey. You know how this guy's going to score goals. It's in his office, the same part of the ice. It's that slap shot or wrist shot, one-timer, every single time. He does not miss. And yet he still scores 40 to 60 goals every year. Alex Pereira, you know it's that left hook. And he's still knocking motherfuckers out with that left hook every single time. And Khalil Rountree Jr. does have quick hands, does have good striking, but he doesn't exit the pocket fast enough where Pereira's going to crack this guy. He's going to absolutely crack him. He's going to put him out. Shama, ladies and gentlemen, that is my pick. Now, Khalil Rountree Jr., 13-5-0 as a pro, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. He's on a good run, but the level of competition that he's faced has been vastly diluted to the level of competition that Alex Pereira has been putting out. 9 KO TKO, 0 submissions, 4 submissions. Now, if we were allowed superior rule set, oh my goodness, Khalil Rountree would be my favorite fighter because he's almost there the way that he freaking soccer kicks people's bodies. Imagine if he could do that to their motherfucking face in real MMA. None of this garbage UFC unified trash disgraceful rules that we have in this goddamn promotion, in this goddamn region of North America. Thank God we have Gladiator and Deep tonight. We can actually balance that with some real MMA later. I digress. Khalil Rountree, he's dangerous. He's fun to watch. 9-5-1 in the UFC, 4-0 in the RFA before it became LFA. He's finishing guys that he should finish. I'll give him that. But when he goes up against better competition, exposed is harsh, but he's not at the same level he's at when he's putting out easier guys. Absolutely destroyed Anthony Smith. He should. Absolutely destroyed Chris Dawkins. He should. Close decision where he probably could have lost to Justin Jacoby. Didn't put him out. And Jacoby's proven to be a little chinny. Carl Robertson took him out, as he should. Bukauskas. Now, Bukauskas is actually good and was on a little bit of a run there. That was savage what he did to his knee. I get it, but Bukauskas is nowhere near the level of the guys that Pereira has been beating. Lost to Prachniow, dude. Now, Prachniow is actually not that bad, but still. Got absolutely destroyed by Jan Kutalaba. Now, that is kind of a weird one because Kutalaba is either like really good or not good, but still. Lost to Johnny Walker before going and learning Muay Thai, but that was just back in 2018. So sure, this is Muay Thai versus kickboxing, but he's still relatively new to Muay Thai. And Pereira has been the king of glory for so long. So yeah, I'm going with Alex Pereira. He hit, I know Rountree hits hard. He's got good combos. He's got good Muay Thai style. He's got them teeps, but he's still a lot smaller than Alex Pereira. Pereira's beaten so many good opponents. They each have good leg kicks, but obviously Pereira has better leg kicks. His counter left is obviously nasty. This is kickboxing, Brazil versus Muay Thai, USA in this main event, and still, baby, and still. As far as my lock, degenerate, and safe picks, for my lock of the card, we're going with Joaquin Buckley. Degenerate parlay is honestly more fun than the safe parlay. Degenerate parlay, we're going either Rountree or Vieira. You guys take your pick. Aldo and Dolidze. So two actually have a very good chance. Well, one is a very good chance, one is a good chance, and one doesn't really have a chance. But the DGen parlay is actually fun this week with either your pick of Rountree or Vieira, Aldo, and Dolidze. Safe parlay, Buckley, Almeida, Span. Honestly, I'm kind of scared with that one. We're going Buckley, Almeida, Span for the safe parlay. Lock Joaquin Buckley, degenerate parlay. Vieira, your pick of Vieira or Rountree, Aldo, and Dolidze. All right, let's see what you guys got in the comments here. Dolidze is a non-fat Shamil. He moves as slow as him. Holland tried baiting Dolidze into no takedowns in the press conference. Oh my goodness. Don't think he took the bait. Hank got pissed at me and said, I want Bautista to win for the division's sake. Why is he mad? I mean, new blood at the top. You got slept so bad. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I picked Aldo, but rooting for Mario. If Peña wins, we will have to put Hank on ending himself a watch. It's honestly sad. Yeah, he really does not like Peña, which is funny because I would feel like out of all of like our community and friends, I would think that he would like Peña the most because he's more of the he's the wrestling fan. Now, I shouldn't say more because we're not WWE fans at all. He is the wrestling fan. He is the WWE fan. I should say pro wrestling because I don't want to disrespect wrestling. He's the pro wrestling fan, and Peña, I feel like she yaps in the pro wrestling style, which is why JL likes her. I can't trust Peña again after getting subbed by GDR. Lost all hope in her. It's true. I guess for a good grappler, she's not the best grappler. Rooting for Khalil as an honorary tie, but I think he's too slow compared to Shama. Gonna slowly tag his leg, forcing something. Khalil, the kickboxer's bane. Oh God, he's talking about hockey again. We'll see ya, Isha. Who's Aldo fighting Mario Bautista? Khalil needs to channel some Ngannou against Rosenstrike energy. Wild blitz to start is the best chance. Yes. By the way, my hockey example was a really good one. I'm just saying. McGee, Aldo, Peña is a good underdog parlay. There you go. A plot twist. He's baiting him to shoot so he can snatch at Darsar Gilly. Yo, what's up, Degenerate Dane? Going to Iron Maiden. Gonna miss the mech card. Dude, I saw Iron Maiden in 2013. It was awesome. They still put on a good show, even though they're getting up there in age. Have a great time. What's your favorite Iron Maiden album? Mine? I'm going to say it. Killers. I love Bruce Dickinson. But Killers is my favorite Iron Maiden album. Bautista by KO. Oh no, I just like messing with you about hockey. It was a good example. I wouldn't make a hockey and MMA example if it wasn't a good one. And their names are both Alex. Pennington should destroy her. I haven't had a super hammer women's fight since last year, but I'm so confident. Fighters out for 2 years lose nearly 70% of the time. Well, there you go. Carlos Esparza's probably done too then. What's up, Rami? Dane can't call anyone a casual ever again. Although, honestly, I'd go to an Iron Maiden concert over this UFC card, to be perfectly honest. Number of the Beast. Hey, good album as well. I'm in the minority with Killers is my favorite album, but that's how you know I'm a real hardcore Iron Maiden album when I like listen to the oldies, because that came out in what, 70? I want to say 78. I want to say Killers came out before Star Wars. Who fights Connor or Colby? Julianna by sub. Peña also said altitude conditioning is a myth apparently. Oh yeah, I'll be watching at the concert. You better tag me in a Twitter picture of that. Who fights first, Connor or Colby? Oh, Colby. White people love that angry rock. They're UK progressive metal, one of the greatest of all time. I wouldn't even say Iron Maiden's angry. They honestly remind me more of Bach and Beethoven than like Megadeth and Metallica. I don't get it. You guys are white. You should be happy. What does Hamza pull out of this time? Oh, I think it's going to be a lower body and respiratory issues together. By the way, Matt, have you seen my latest flight series? I know I didn't post a beer review yet on this channel, but I did work on a flight series for my second channel, and I have another one dropping on Monday. There you go. COVID. All right, guys. Well, I got to run. I'm, like I said, the next stream you'll see me on likely will be some boxing before UFC, but comment on the community tab. Comment on the community tab on YouTube if there's a different promotion you want me to just fire up and cover before we jump over to UFC. But like I said, I'm house sitting / dog sitting for a friend of mine today. And I'm going to hop over there. He has a podcast studio and like a streaming studio as well. So it's going to be easy for me just to literally just plug in, which will be nice. Yeah, so when you see me, I will be there in a couple hours. I'm going to just pack up my stuff here. I don't have to pack up much, to be honest. Pack up a couple things here, head that way, quickly set up, and then we'll jump on stream for the rest of the day and evening, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, on the community tab on the channel, comment if there's a promotion you want me to cover before UFC. Also, check out this video. It was awesome. Yeah, so if there's something else you want me to cover other than this, let me know, and we'll jump on a little early. If not, we'll just fire up UFC later. After that, we will keep our eye on Gladiator. It's free on YouTube, but we will likely be balls deep in deep, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow we got Fury FC, and honestly, probably Anthony Pettis FC as well. What's up, MJ World? Good to see you. Yes, and Matt X, you can see it by bam. Clicking right there. Iron Maiden sounds like the Beatles next to Rage Against the Machine. That is exactly. Yeah, we're just wrapping up right now, MJ World, but rewind the tape. We had a good predictions video. But I will be live for the Fight Companion, and we're streaming all day, all night, baby. Good to see you. All right, guys, back in a couple hours for potentially some boxing. Or again, comment on this thread. Comment on this post if you want me to stream something else, watch something else other than this boxing card. If not, we'll put that on the background and we'll hang out with you guys. Then we got UFC, which I'll get the stream up soon. Then we got Gladiator and Deep. We'll be double dipping Gladiator and Deep. Let's fucking go. Real MMA. None of this fake ass garbage that the UFC is showing us. We got real MMA. We got grounded kicks. We got stomps. We got knees to grounded opponents. We got 12 to 6 elbows. Real MMA, baby. Love Japanese MMA. This is the best $20 I've ever spent in my life. Back for more streams in a couple hours, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button and subscribe. Always remember, even though he won't be at UFC because he was at one championship yesterday, it's always Herb Dean's fault. See you for boxing. See you for UFC. See you for real MMA. Back here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think there's anything else big. That's what I thought. That's what I thought as well. But if you do find something, let me know. Back in a couple hours, boxing, UFC, then real MMA in Japan. Comment your picks, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah.